Hi, it's Vitaly from codelibry. And after doing like 300 websites for different digital agencies, I can assure you that I know the issue almost every agency struggles with. And this issue is organizing the work environment. When you are working with a huge amount of client projects, it's really difficult to keep things consistent, organized, and the tool we are going to talk today is called project management tools. Something could come up to your mind like Asana, ClickUp, obviously Jira, Trello, Monday.com, what's their Basecamp, work section, whatever you use. The problem is most agencies have this tool, but barely every agency use it properly. Um, I am not a big fan of how to say be very organized person. Hopefully, that's not my role into this organization. And our project management Anna and Alia was two persons who made this like structure working perfectly for a team. They are controlling everything. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how this works and how this really impacts your environment. Well, first of all, I hope to blur some content. Yeah. So right now I am in our test project. In fact, it's not a test project; it's a real project. Just have super small amount of information, but enough to show you how things works. So first of all, this is like an minimal viable Asana board or whatever board that you may need. So you know it works like a Kanban. You have different columns and you drag tasks as soon as you are working on them. We have a few team members in a team. You can see this on the right side and how things work. The first column is info. It's a PM notes. Have some dependencies, but it's advanced stuff. It has a project brief. It has a link to staging for work. The Figma design file, production credentials like old website, login, password, whatever we need. Then, when somebody takes the task, it's get assigned to him with a certain due date, and basically it could be something like for today. I've created few tasks because everything right now is in the QA. It's not the best point for share, but basically when I have a task as a developer, I move something in progress. When I really work on this, I move this ready for QA when and assign to our QA to check. You can see in a subtasks we have a different subtasks that are coming up from our internal QA person. And once things are ready, we move this to with client section. This basically means that we are happy with the results and we are now sharing with our client. And as soon as our client says, yeah, guys, everything is great, the job is complete. So what issues are there? Well, first, without having this kind of tool, you as a manager, you can't really know what the fuck is going on with your projects. So the biggest benefit right now for me as an agency owner is to basically jump into any project we have. So we can have like 30, 35 projects in a parallel working. It's impossible for me to know everything. We have different team members who takes care about like project management stuff, team members working on that, like developer, QA, designer. It's a huge mess if you don't make things aligned. Spreadsheets doesn't work because the data is not synced. This kind of tools, it costs like $10, maybe euros per seat, and it worth this money because you basically open this in evening in the middle of the night whenever you see a client request and you're working as an agency founder. You know what's going on, where is the task, who is responsible, if there are any blockers. So you can see I can definitely have a history of 96 tasks that were done for a homepage. I know the comments from a QA person. I know the issues that were raised on development stuff. And I have this for every single project. Now, uh, it's very important for two reasons. Once you land a client and you work for a year or so, contract finished, you're like split apart, go separate directions, but you still have all the data saved somewhere in one place for every project. Yes, project goes into archive, that's fine. But if in a year or two client goes back to you, you know everything. You have the notes. If you hire a new PM, you have a notes. If you hire a new dev, you have a notes and project history. So combination of project management tool like we have Asana, if you have Trello, whatever, give you a huge database for a project. And the longer project, the more perks you have as an agency founder, your team have as a parts of a process. And what's very important for agencies is to keep these things updated. I have way too many agencies having the tools, but they don't use them properly. And use them properly means you keep most of communication here inside tasks. So everything that's inside the comments with due date, uh, it's something that get processed and moves things forward. Anything that's outside of here get lost. So the most annoying part is lose client request. Something minor, project manager was overwhelmed, you were overwhelmed. And if you dropped just a message somewhere, it just will get lost. The bigger projects, the more communication it has. So simply add everything to Asana or any project management tool and just keep going. If you are working with multiple projects in parallel, that's essential. If you want to find project data, that's essential because hear me out. What a mess is going on if you have passwords saved in one place, design a second place brief on Google Drive. How are you going to connect all of that? You simply create an info board and move things here. Yes, this is a smaller project. Let me share you a bigger one. Okay, another project. I have blurred everything in order to keep things, up to date, but still, we have something in info, something in to do, and you can see clearly that it's one, two, three, four, and it could be even more developers and other managers working in the same way. And simply find out who is responsible for what is very difficult when you don't have these things listed out. So my simple advice is to use this kind of tool to turn your mess into organized structure and see how projects are shipped faster, without a mess. Um, and yeah, that was a reason to record this video today. It was Vitali from Codelibry, and see you next week. Bye bye.